You've done good. Thank you very much. That was wonderful. Yeah, we are one big happy family, and we meet right here at the Center for Spiritual Living in Menifee Valley. And we are all welcome. We are all one. And right now it's time to find out what's going on in our beloved community right here and in our community here in Menifee. So here's our president of our core council, Mr. Dave Minier. Last week I introduced him as Dave Friedman. And he wouldn't get up, just like today. I don't know what's going on.
Something's happening. Okay.
Let's try again.
Do it again.
Dave Minier! With our announcement.
Sorry. Things happen, and they must be dealt with on the spot. Weird things were happening on the TVs, and I didn't know what was going to pop up next, so I had to deal with that first. Good morning, everybody. How are we doing? Good. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living in Menifee Valley. We are a new thought community based on the teachings of Ernest Holmes, which revolve around the power of positive thinking and the law of attraction. No matter where you are on your spiritual path, you are welcome here. We are happy you're choosing to be here this morning, and as I say it every week, we were expecting you, and I thank you for not disappointing us. In honor of spring and the season of new beginnings, and this will be the last time I do this month. I'll have a new one for you next month. You all know I like to have a little affirmation. So if you will please repeat after me. I embrace growth.
I embrace growth.
I embrace renewal.
I embrace renewal.
And I embrace the flow of life's constant changes.
And I embrace the flow of life's constant changes.
Take a deep breath for me. And one more time. I embrace growth.
I embrace growth.
I embrace renewal.
I embrace renewal.
And I embrace the flow of life's constant changes.
And I embrace the flow of life's constant changes.
Doesn't that feel good? All right. So on to the announcements. If you will please silence your cell phones. As we know, cell phones are contagious. When one goes off, they will all go off. And so we want to make sure that doesn't happen. Next week, our speaker is going to be Ann Woodward. This will be our first time speaking here. If you've not, she also goes by Sister Bear. So if you know her, she is an amazing speaker. So don't miss that. She's going to be speaking on planting seeds in an expanding universe. Also, upcoming events, in the little bulletin that you got today, there's a pamphlet inside of there. The insert has all the important information about what's coming up at the center, what's going on. I mean, we got you covered. We got dancing, we got karaoke, we had live music here on last Friday, amazing food. So make sure you come to that. Also, if you want to be in the know and you want to take it home, there are new calendars for April over there on the entry table. You're more than welcome to grab one. There's also, got these today, tickets for a circus. So we are part of a club that when events come around, they give free tickets to certain people. It is in San Bernardino. It's at the Orange Show, the National Orange Show. But they are free tickets. They're normally about $20, but there's a stack of them over there. So if you and some friends want to go to see the circus, grab some tickets, take them, and go to the circus. It's supposed to be fun. It says it has the human cannonball with the world's smallest person. And I'm thinking, yeah, and how big is the cannon? It makes me a little nervous. I kind of want to go just to see that, but we'll see. There's also a kids fun zone too, so that's kind of cool. Also coming up this April's just starting like in 2 days, huh? Okay, so on Wednesday, the first Wednesday of every month, we have our drum circle here, the community drum circle. I always talk about how great it is, and I'm not gonna not say that this time. It is an amazing experience. Nobody does a drum circle like White Feather does a drum circle. It's the only place where you can have a drum circle, you can have a sound bath, and you can have live music, and it is just fascinating. We have a mother drum that sits in the middle of this room, and with the floors and the shape of the room, it just makes it feel different. It hits differently in this room. So I highly recommend coming to that. It's on Wednesday at 6:30, and it's facilitated by White Feather. Like I said, it's a $10 suggested love offering at the door, which is really a great deal. I saw a couple other places advertising sound baths, and they were asking $30 just for a sound bath. This you're getting all of it, so please come to that. It's, again, amazing. We are going to have coffee and snacks. We've got some cookies, I think I heard, and coffee, right?
That's what we have.
All right. It's there, so stick around afterwards, mingle. If you'd like to volunteer as a greeter, kitchen helper, making coffee, an usher, there's a new volunteer sheet for the next 3 months. We just ask if you want to commit to a couple weeks, you know, doing something, one of those things, you can sign up. It's real easy. You'll see how it is over there. If you have a prayer request for the week, please place it in the prayer box located underneath that portrait of Ernest Holmes over there, or you can see a practitioner. For more information, visit us on Facebook, Instagram, our website, cslmd.org. As you know, I always talk about the algorithm, and the algorithm works. So if you see our stuff online, just throw it a like, throw it a share if you connect with the message, and it does wonders for us. So before I intro Eloise to do our meditation, if you will all repeat after me: open minds, open hearts, open arms, open at the top. Thank you all. Have a beautiful week.
I'm not Eloise. So I'm not going to do the meditation right now. We'll do that in just a moment. But I wanted to add something to what Dave was talking about. And I didn't understand the circus thing.
So we got free tickets. There's a circus going on, and we got given free tickets.
You want a circus? Come here every summer. That's what I wanted to say. And now, let's get that foolishness out of the way. That's our fun business and information. And now it is time to center. And we begin our service this morning with our invocation, Eloise.
My chant this morning is Rupam Dehi Jayam Dehi. Rupam Dehi Jayam Dehi Yasho Dehi Visho Dehi. Rupam Dehi Jayam Dehi Yasho Dehi Visho Jahi. I want to know what love is. I want you to show me. I want to feel what love is. I know that you can show me. Rupam Dehi Jayam Dehi Yasho Dehi Visho Jahi. Rupam Dehi Jayam Dehi Yasho Dehi Visho Jahi. This beautiful, cool morning, these beautiful days of spring,
where we get in touch with ourselves, where we get to know we are opening, we are joyous, we are lovely, we are God. I know within me is that spirit. I know within me is that life that gives me my creative power. I know who I am. And it's taken me a long time to learn it. I got all the disbelief, all the doubt out of the way. I cleared the decks so I could be with myself and know where God truly is. And know that I can see God in everyone I know. And know that I am never alone. I am never, ever alone. Whatever the situation is, I have the Spirit. I know I am blossoming. I know I am greater than I ever knew. And recognizing that gives me so much comfort. Lets me know the God within gives me everything I need, always. And with that gratitude, I release my word into the law of mind, because I live in gratitude. And I release my word. And together we say, and so it is.
And now a reading from the Science of Mind textbook. But just before that, a reading from a book by Emmett Fox, that really emphasizes that silent meditation that we just experienced. And it says, there is only one presence, the Spirit of God. And God is infinite intelligence and infinite love and has all power in truth and reality. Every person on earth is a spiritual being and expresses all these divine qualities. All men and women realize divine wisdom and express it in their thoughts. And Ernest Holmes writes, conscious thought is the starting point of every new creation. Trained thought is far more powerful than untrained. Since the admission that thought is power gives it added power. This is one of the great secrets of mental science. Conscious thought is the starting point. Conscious thought is the starting point. The idea of a successful life will create success. This idea will find objective form in the outer world of the one who holds to it with conviction. It must first become established in the conscious mind. It will then transmit itself into a subjective embodiment. And when this happens, success will become habitual. Success will become habitual. And so it is.
So it is.
And now, I have the distinct pleasure of introducing our guest speaker today. And I really don't think of her as a guest speaker. She is one of our family, actually. Reverend Robyn Plante from the Unity Church in Hemet. Reverend Robyn.
Thank you, Bill. Oh, good morning. Great to be back with you again here. It's been a few months and I've been hearing stories of transformation here. How exciting. How exciting is that? Wow. So, blossoming in the swaying. How are you doing with blossoming in the swaying? You know, I love that title. It gives me an image of a cherry tree with little pink, like confetti-like blossoms that is just going with the flow, yet so rooted and thriving. So that is what our lesson today invites us into, that rootedness of our divine identity and thriving, not just surviving, but thriving amid all the winds of change and the ebb and the flow and the release and renewal, as I mentioned that we're in this time of release and renewal. And staying open at the top. Wow. So we'll get back to that in a minute. But I want us to start with a story. So once upon a time, in a land far away, there was a community of acorns nestled at the foot of an oak tree. And the citizens of this kingdom went about with a purposeful energy. These baby boomer acorns engaged in a lot of self-help courses. They attended seminars such as getting all you can out of your shell and who would you be without your nutty story? there were recovery groups for acorns who had been bruised in their fall from the tree. There were spas for oiling and polishing those shells, and various acornopathic therapies to enhance longevity and well-being. So one day there suddenly appeared a tiny, naughty little stranger who was dropped into the kingdom by a passing bird. And this newcomer was capless, he was dirty, and he was crouched under the oak tree, babbling out a wild tale. As the others gathered around him, he pointed up to the tree and said, "We are that." The other acorns looked at each other and snickered. He's delusional. But they decided to humor him. So they asked, so do tell us, how do we become that tree? Well, he said, it has something to do with going into the ground and cracking open the shell. They looked at each other. "That's insane," they said. "Totally morbid. Then why we wouldn't be acorns anymore." So cracking open to our divine identity, to greater divine expression, how can we cooperate with that? You know, what does it require from us? It requires a few things, doesn't it, from us? So that phrase, that open at the top from Ernest Holmes, I take it to mean that stay open to your evolution, stay open to your transformation. Let go of what you think you know. Let go of who you think you are or have been, and allow that divine intelligence and energy and inspiration to be your revelation, your elevation, your respiration as you live, move, and have your being in it, around it, as it, expressing it more. Because there is that divine urge always seeking to blossom more within us. Have you felt that? Who's felt that? And we're in this spring energy of it collectively and in nature, this natural process. So I read a story about this temple in Barcelona, Spain, called Sagrada Familia Expiatory Temple. I think that's how you pronounce it. And it's a church that's not finished yet, that the architects who've worked on it, they left room for the next group of workers to do their own thing, to add their own designs, to add their new materials, to have new technology be part of that, and leaving room for updating. So I kind of see that like open at the top. We leave room for updating, now those divine downloads and updating. And we too can hold that inner space for transformation. And transformation is messy sometimes, isn't it? Because we let go of what we're used to seeing and being and thinking and doing, and then something new comes in that we work with and that works with us. So let's see some ways that we can work with this. The first way is to allow comfort in the discomfort of change. That sounds like an oxymoron, right? Comfort and the discomfort. How do we do that? I think that another way to see that is to, when change comes, to accept it versus resist it or reject it. Just to accept, okay, this is happening, it's flowing this way, not how I expected, but here we go. And we know that any kind of change can generate that discomfort because we have never done it before. And if we're used to feeling really competent and we have a clear clear path, and then something new comes where we're in a new situation, it takes some patience and self-compassion to learn something new, too. In times when we haven't been there before, we haven't been that before. Change can also challenge us to question our beliefs, too. You know, what is true now? What do I believe now that this is happening or this is happening? And how do I want to show up in this new time, in this new era, with this new shift? And how can I show up in the truth and the love and the power of who I truly am versus my scared ego self? How can I show up in my divinity? So we remember our wholeness and oneness with God. And remember that we were born with a natural inclination toward balance, toward stability, toward tenacity and strength. So we come here to remember, don't we? We come here to remember the truth of who we are. And it's also interesting that research shows that some stress is actually good for us. That, you know, when nothing new is happening, you feel a little itchy sometimes, a little like, oh, you know, there must be more. And it can leave us sometimes feeling restless or even stagnant or apathetic, but a little stress, they call it optimal stress, is actually energizing and can motivate us and keep us focused. So there's a tipping point, though, isn't there, from creative stress to unhealthy stress, and that's different for everyone. And can you feel that when that happens? You know, you feel it in your body, like, uh-oh, I have crossed the threshold into unhealthy stress. So time for self-care, time to look at this again, rebalance. But when we realize that that stress point has become too much, we can employ what the 90-second rule. How many of you are familiar with Jill Bolte Taylor, the brain scientist? Well, she talks about how when we're hit with a stressful situation, no matter what kind of stress it is, the body releases these chemicals and they flood the system for 90 seconds. And if I just be with it, just observe your emotions, because this is a physiological chemical reaction. And this energetic charge will disperse after 90 seconds, unless we keep it going with our thoughts. Yes. So as metaphysical students, we know the power of our thoughts and the power of choosing our thoughts. We know the power of the mind to shape our lens of how we see life and how we create and experience life. And I love this from New Thought author Imelda Shankman. Your mind is your world. Your thoughts are the tools with which you carve your life's story on the substance of the universe. When you rule your mind, you rule your world. When you choose your thoughts, you choose results. You found that to be true. Yeah. So the key word there is choice. We're always at choice. And I heard that in the reading too. We're always at choice with our thoughts. And to remember that you are the storyteller. You are not the story. You are the storyteller. And it takes a lot of courage to live a bigger and freer life, doesn't it? To say yes to that expanded version that is greening and blooming and wanting to express. It takes courage to free ourselves from past hurts, resentments, baggage. Who will I be if I let go of this story? Of pain, of betrayal, or disappointment. But as the storyteller and not the story, you can change the narrative to a more empowering version of the story, to have it be a story of victory. Look what I learned in this. Look how I grew. Look how resilient I became because of this in the past. Look how I trusted God more. Look how I flowed with that. Look how I overcame. Because the light in you is invincible, eternal, indestructible. The divine in you is indestructible. So cultivating comfort in discomfort of change, we remember the truth of who we are and can affirm, I surrender any fear into the alchemy of divine love. I put my trust in the power of spirit within me. I am empowered to live a joyful and resilient life. I am empowered to live a joyful and resilient life. Join me if you choose. I am empowered to live a joyful and resilient life. One more. I am empowered to live a joyful and resilient life. Just breathe that in.
Can we say that one more time?
Yes, I am empowered to live a joyful and resilient life. Let that be your story. So who has been a model of resilience for you? See if somebody come to mind with that? And do you think this person lived a stress-free life? Or do you think they dug in with tenacity to make adversity a stepping stone instead of a tombstone? Yes. Steve Jobs shared at a graduation address, I didn't see it then, but getting fired from Apple turned out to be the best thing that could have happened to me. It freed me to enter one of the greatest creative periods of my life. Have you ever had that happen where something at first it just looked, oh God, so disheartening, but then later it turned out to be a blessing? That's creating that new story. I remember when I worked my first church up north, and I was also teaching, and the charter school closed. And at first it was like, oh, you know, really? I was really disappointed, but then I kind of decided, okay, you could stay in that disappointment, or you could see, what is this freeing up now? And then they had these community classes where I took a computer class and an art class and something else too, and got to enjoy just really being at my church job. I thought, this is pretty good. How can I just enjoy being the spiritual leader of a church now instead of working this job and this job? So letting these adversities be stepping stones to something greater that is calling to come forth. And after that, I went to ministerial school. I will say, when I had that one at the church, where Eloise knows, at the church. And I was inspired to go to ministerial school because of that. Freed me up mentally, too. And I think of the story of Jesus. It's in the Gospel of Luke, where he's all on fire. He's like trying to preach in his hometown, and he's being chased by an angry mob that chases him to the edge of the cliff and kicks him out of town with the thought, like, who do you think you are? You're the carpenter's son. What do you think you're doing? But he knew who he really was. He was rooted in the truth of his spiritual identity. And that kept him going. That kept him blossoming in the swaying. And we can too. We can too. So finding comfort in the discomfort of change. Another thing we can do is to be true to the truth of who you are. As the dolphin's true nature is to swim and not fly, as the acorn's true nature is to become an oak tree and not an apple tree, so too your true nature, made in the image and likeness of God, is to express God in your own unique way. As Emerson wrote, imitation is suicide. That hit me hard when I first read that. Yeah. And the Buddha, comparison is the death of joy. Another, my second ministry I was at, I stepped in after the founder, and he had some very big shoes to fill. And at first it was like, oh, we're so glad you're here. You're not like Reverend so-and-so. And then after a while it's like, oh, you're not like Reverend so-and-so. And it took me a while to stop trying to walk in his shoes. That, you know what, I have my own shoes. And Spirit has my own path to walk that is different from his path. And both valuable, both needed, both here. You have your own path to walk. No matter what your family says, no matter what anyone says, you are expressing as uniquely you. When I first moved down to Southern California from Northern California, my son, well-meaningly, and daughter-in-law gave me this phone. I called it an old person's phone because you were supposed to wear it on this thing around your neck and then like press it if you needed help. And I thought, you guys don't know me. I mean, if I needed something like that, I would get it, you know, definitely. And some people do need that. But I thought, I don't live in years, I live in God. You don't live in years. We don't live in years, we live in God. And to really embrace that, no matter whose perception is putting who's putting their limiting perceptions, we just say, no, thank you. That's not the truth of me. So be true to the truth of who you are. Be yourself. Everyone else is taken.
That's right.
You are a unique, unrepeatable expression of God. Holy, whole, and complete. Just as you are. Just as you are. And still we want to grow. Still that growth is coming. Still that, you know, we say, who wants transformation? Me. Who wants change? Oh. Transformation is change, to change the form. So, how are you already allowing the divine to express itself in you and through you? You're already doing it. How are you doing that? And to notice it, because sometimes we take it for granted, don't we? That we're already expressing the holy, the divine, being out in the world, in our friendships, in our family, with our pets, in our community, in our church. Think about that. How are you already expressing that? And what holy nudges have you been receiving to do or be or investigate or explore? You know, those are easy to brush off. We get that little nudge. But Spirit's persistent. It's gentle, but persistent. It'll keep the whisper. Hey, go do this. Try this. It'll nudge. It'll keep nudging. So listening to those divine whispers and attending to those holy nudges, those persistent nudges, getting out of our comfort zone is a way to stay open at the top, isn't it? To cooperate with it, to investigate. And sometimes that means that we need to let go of our nutty story, of a smallness. and let that Spirit crack us open into that divine magnificence that we're encoded to be, to become, while we're here in this earth skull. So talk about getting out of your comfort zone. When I walked in today, I went, wow, you guys have been going through some transformation here. How awesome. I think I was here in December or toward the end of last year when I was first here. And this is a story, you are living a story of transformation right here in this community. It's so beautiful. Just that blossoming of life. There is dancing here, singing, movement, the movement of the holy, the movement of life here, energized. It was already here, but it's like amplified now. You got out of your comfort zone, didn't you? And this community. Dave's going, yes. And who knew a year ago how you would be having a win-win for this community and the wider community to be in service? Wow. That's that energy of love and vision, because love knows no bounds. It will keep expanding itself. So this is the energy of expansion that we're in right here in this very room. And I invite you today to set your personal intention for divine expansion, consciousness expansion, because there's a collective velocity of uplifting and up-leveling and branching out. This upward movement of new life. Thomas Troward once wrote, "The realization of flotation did not come from the contemplation of the sinking of things." I'll say that again. The realization of flotation did not come from the contemplation of the sinking of things. So what are you contemplating? What will you contemplate this week? I also found it, in preparing this talk, I also found it interesting to learn about Center for Spiritual Living's definition and encouragement of sacred activism. And I love this definition. It's a consciousness where you embody your best expression of yourself. And at the end of the day, when your head lands on the pillow, you feel a sense of satisfaction of how you showed up in the world to make it a better place. And this type of sacred activism has a varied approach, and the way you do it might look really different from the way someone else does it. Some may feel called to march, to make speeches, to advocate for certain causes or groups, and others may quietly work behind the scenes in meditation and prayer, visualizing peace, harmony, justice, embodying kindness. Some may write songs. Others may raise the vibration through chanting, devotional chanting, kirtan, drumming. Others may plant gardens, nurture children. There are infinite ways, aren't there, to express the rootedness of God presence and expression to raise the collective consciousness in this world, even amid the winds of change. And with the constant change that we are living in transformational times, the things that you see that are hard on the heart, what we can do is let those be a stepping stone and let those things motivate us to be the exact opposite of what is showing up that is hurtful. For example, whatever troubles you in the world, if you're seeing selfishness, that's a call to be more generous. How can I be more generous? If you're seeing cruelty, that's a call to be more kind, kindness, to promote kindness. Hard-heartedness is a call to be kind-hearted, kind-hearted. Clutching or stinginess is a call to be more generous. So let it motivate you to be more of its opposite, to be that love expressing. Love is a transformer. So we are part of that. We are called to be part of that. Love's transformer. So in these times of the winds of change, let us stay rooted into that divine truth that we are, into our spiritual identity, to find ease in the discomfort of change, to be the truth of who you really are, to have that courage to express the beauty of who you are, to enjoy the spiritual buoyancy of contemplating the beauty, the love, the peace, and the power of the truth of your eternal light. Are you willing? Yes? Yes. Yes, we are. So it is. Thank you. Oh, and now we have a closing prayer. Okay. So I just invite us to close our eyes and just take a breath together, this breath of life. Feeling your roots go down as embodying yourself as a living tree of life. In one with the one infinite mind, living, moving, and having our being in God mind, God heart, God life. Let us go forth as the heartbeat of God, rooted in the truth of our holy nature, fed by the living spring of the eternal elixir, strong, creative, guided, loving, joyful, resilient, and blessed. And we give thanks for this divine life expressing around us, in us, through us, and as us. And we release this into the loving law of the universe, knowing that its work is already done. Amen.
Oh, it is.
Thank you.
Thank you, Robyn Plante. Thank you, Reverend Robyn Plante. Thank you so much. And I don't know about you, but that lady was singing my song with her power. This was a perfect day for me because whenever I think I'm being rejected by something, I'm being directed to something even better and grander. And Robyn, you brought that out to us today. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So, I don't know about you, but I'm ready to get up and get going, but we have our offertory right now. And if our usher can get up, I have the same trouble. And Elvis is going to give us some information this morning.
Hey guys, repeat after me. I am rich. I am rich. I am generous.
I am generous.
I give and receive abundantly.
I give and receive abundantly.
And I do want you to receive abundantly because I notice what I give out comes back to me in so many generous ways. And I loved, Robyn, I loved your story of the acorns. looking up at a tree. You're that. Not me. I can't be that. I'm just an acorn. No, that's who you are. And I really took that story in, and I recognize how often things happen that make us feel small. And we're not small. We're huge. So today, as your generous gifts, I hope, are in your hands, so that Gail, as he comes around, while we sing how blessed we are. I am so blessed.
And Dave has the...
Oh, and Dave, I forgot, Dave has the card reader for your credit cards and debit cards. So don't think if you came here and don't have any money. I know you've got cards. We've all got cards. Thank you very much.
And now I am
So blessed. Oh, we don't have Brian today. I'll sing. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. And we are all so grateful in this center for every member, for every person, for every dollar, for every expression of love that is given to the center. And so it is. I just want to say one thing. I realized I'm not done. It's like, you know, you do get, when you, okay, simple story. I had my gallbladder out years ago, but 3 little guys escaped. And they were running around, and they were sitting and jumping around in my bile duct. And my doctor said, you know, that could go into your pancreas. It could kill you. Did you know that? And I said, no, I didn't know that. I was going through pains on occasion, you know, maybe half hour. But I didn't know that if it jumped somewhere else, it could kill me. But I avoided the surgery for several years. It's not even a surgery, it's a procedure. But I finally got up, whatever it took, I got it up. And I went for it. And you know when you're on the other side of it? Oh my God, it's so good. I'll never have those pains again. I won't have those attacks every month or 2 or whatever. I am so blessed and I am so grateful. That's all. Just wanted you to know that.
Well, it's nice to have you back, you and your gallbladder.
The gallbladder and all the stones are all.
I know, and I think that thank you, Eloise, for that. I think that's a wonderful thing. Going right back to what Robyn Plante said today, that there are incidents in all of our lives that we think about and we are concerned about, and we're scared sometimes. We're scared. There's no reason to be. Let go of that fear. Let go and let God. And now it's time to let go and let God, because we've come to the end of our service and there's only one thing left for us to do. We circle up, or you don't have to if you don't want to. We circle up and we sing our peace song. And it's so important right